What up, guys? This is the V2 version of the classic WoW EPGP loot system breakdown. Roxy's going to break it down for you guys. All right? So in this video, we're going to go over what EPGP is, how it works, some advanced kind of questions, and then sprinkled in there'll be some specifics because this video is geared towards Dazed on the guild Fairbanks. All right? Now, EPGP itself, broken down. EP is effort points, GP is gear points, and then you get your PR, which is your priority rating, by dividing your effort points by your gear points. All right, little example of this. Let's say you have 200 EP, and you have just the base floor, this is for Dazed, of GP of 20. All right, your PR rating is 10. Okay, if you have 10, someone else has 9, you get first dibs on the item, and it is your choice to roll on it or not. Now, let's say you get that item, and you add 20 GP to your total. You're now at 5 PR. So you bump down, someone else will have priority over you. And then as you get more EP and your GP decays, your PR will go up. All right, now into the specifics. How do we gain EP?
Great question.
Thank you.
Rating, bringing consumables, being on time,
Very important.
and an optional weekly donation of 1 arcane crystal.
1, and it's optional.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, so that is you gain EP. How do you gain GP? GP is only gained by acquiring gear in raid. All right, so let's actually just pull up Atlas Loot real quick, and I'll show you to set up this option later. Let's say you're warrior, you get Onslaught Girdle. All right, if you can see here at the bottom of Onslaught Girdle, the GP value of the item is 37. So this will be added to your GP total, which will drop your PR down. All right, and if you have top PR, you get first choice on items. All right, let's get into the add-on itself. You can do this by doing /CEP show. Now, before we dive into this, the add-on we're using specifically, I'll pull it up in Twitch, CEPGP. This is in Twitch. This is what you download. This will give you the option when loot pops up, or the loot window will pop up for you, pardon me. All right, so back into the add-on. Now, we can see we've been doing about, I'd say, roughly a month and a half of EPGP. And if you go into CEP show and click on guild, this is for the entire guild. All right, now you can order these however you'd like. If we do top EP, see the max EP you can acquire thus far is 672. Let's see who's top GP. Boogies, congrats, he's got the most gear. All right, probably the lowest PR or close on there. Now I'm going to do this. I'm going to rank it in the order of PR, and we'll break it down. Here's your character name here. Now, so like we said, max EP is 672 for this. Our GP floor for Dazed on Fairbanks is 20. This is just to keep it. So let's say you come kill 3 bosses in MC. You have 30 EP and 0 GP. That gives you 30 PR, and you get you right at the top right away. The EP floor currently for Dazed is 130. So you have to hit that mark before you can roll on gear. All right, that's just a week of rating. That's all it is. So we see here, just for example, the EP divided by the GP is a PR 33.6. Now, Cuz and Zeph haven't bought anything since we've been using EPGP, so therefore they have the highest PR and they're tied. You basically won't see any other ties because people have gotten different pieces of gear at different time, which are worth different GP values. But they both have 33.6. If they both want an item, they will roll it off. Whoever wins gets that piece. But other than that, let's say Joro and Moon are both want a piece of gear. Joro would get first dibs because he has higher PR. All right, and there's no choice there. If Joro doesn't want it, it goes to the next person. It'll go to Moon or it'll go to Dano. All right. Now we do have a weekly decay, and that's 10% done every Tuesday before raid. Why is this? This is to de-incentivize EP stacking. You can still do it if you like, but it de-incentivizes it. And it also values, if we go to the highest GP, it values getting GP as much as you can. So it values rolling on items faster versus later, versus saving. So if we look here at Boogie's, 10% GP off of this is about 35. So he's getting 35 GP off next week. Let's go down to myself, Stig. I have 107. That's just under 11. So I'd get 11 off. So Boogie's is going to get huge value this week on the weekly decay. Now, of course, EP and GP both decay by 10%. So your PR stays equal. So it's not like we're going to go in here and they have the same numbers. But Lokthar is going to be above Cuz because of the decay. No, it keeps it even. All right. For Dazed on Fairbanks, EPGP is only implemented currently in 3 ways. So like my beautiful fiance said, we have a rating on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then you can do an optional weekly donation of 1 arcane crystal. It can be a bar tube, doesn't matter, for 40 EP once per week. All right. That goes either to Ragnarok, Stig, or Slats. All right. They're the only people that can put in EP scores for you. All right. Now let's break down rating just a touch. We'll click here, go into options. We'll come to this back to the screen in just a moment. Click to the right once, click to the right twice. Now here's for MC. All right, these are all your EP values per boss in MC. Currently, being on time is 10 EP, both Tuesday, Thursday. Bringing proper consumables, which everything is listed out in the Discord, is another 10. All right, brings the total to 138, somewhere around there. Now in Blackwing Lair, this is going to change. Click over here to Blackwing, bigger numbers, right? All these numbers equal is 3 times what MC did, because not all raids are made equally. All right, BWL will be harder, and we want to incentivize progression. All right, so this is 3 times. Consumables and being on time will follow suit. Consumables will be 30, and then being on time will be 30 as well. All right, now a big point with this, there's a lot of numbers and a lot going on, but you yourself are personally responsible for your EP. So like I said, there's 3 people that can add it, Ragnarok, Slats, or Stig, but make sure you're diligent about, hey man, you got me for consumes, right? You can come in here and check it yourself. In Raid, it's a little easier because you can type in your name and see everything that's going on. Also, if you want to do this, you can go to Guild, view EPGP traffic. Let's say we want to look at Nakobe's. Move this out of the way. And that's everything that's happened to him. So you see add for consumes. You'll see stuff like this. Subtract GP, he got overcharged for the Ani head. So Ani head correction fixes the GP for him. All right, that's because he came to me and asked for it. All right, so how does rolling on gear work in this system? So when a piece of gear drops in Raid, a new loot window will open up. And we in Dazed have 3 options. There's need, main spec, off spec / PvP, and pass. Pass is DE. Main spec is the spec you raid in, or the spec you're assigned to raid in. Off spec PvP is just as it is. If it's myself, I'm a healing priest. I need spec holy gear, healing gear. I will off spec any shadow or DPS gear. That'll be at a 50% discount. Now with BOEs, you cannot main spec or off spec a BOE to sell it. If you need a BOE, by all means. If it's for off spec, by all means. But it can't be taken from Dazed to sell in the auction house. That is for the guild, so we can make gold, make Ani scale cloaks, help buy bars for Thunder Fury, all that jazz. All right, we haven't had to implement it yet as well, but there is. We'll go back here into options. I know a lot of stuff's popping up at once. Standby EP. So in the case that we have over 40 people, and there's over 40 people that want to raid, we will put a couple people on the standby list. You, of course, will be benched for that raid, but you will get full EP, full on time, if you're on time, of course, full consumables, if you have them, and full EP for every boss downed. All right, this is so while you can't raid, you can get full points from it as well. All right, so we spoke about standby EP. What about changes going to BWL? So we spoke on it briefly, but hit a Blackwing Lair, everything's going to be worth 3 times as much. Now, what about progression? So progression raids, we're not going to down it first week. We're going to try, but we're not going to do it quite yet. Is 130 EP for the entire progression window. That will be from 7:30 to 10:30. All right, in BWL. Now 7:30 is the baseline. If we down any of these bosses, you'll get that added on top, with also, of course, on time and consumables being for that as well. All right, we made changes once we get to a certain point where, let's say we're just working on Nefarian. We'll probably have just the EP from the bosses without the progression EP as well, because that'll be unnecessary, but it'll be the same for everyone across the board. So EP values will be normalized for everyone. All right, now we do have a couple, this is a little more in-depth here, a couple slot weight changes that we've made going into BWL. The big one is main hand weapon and one-handed weapon. These initially, main hand was 1.75 and one hand was 1.25. We realized that stuff like, I assumed all spell power or spellcaster main hands were main hands, but the dagger from Chromag is a one hand. So those values were being skewed. Mage Blade and MC ended up being more expensive than the Dagger off Chromag. So we normalized them, making the main hand dropping it down and the one hand bumping it up. So now, like it should be, Mage Blade is a little less than that Dagger from Chromag. All right, that just makes it even. We bumped up a couple things, holdable offhand and shield up by just 0.25. Super minor. All right, that's about the only thing there. Now let's go quick on tank rolls. Once again, this is for Dazed on Fairbanks. Our main tank is Moon. He gets prio on every piece of gear. And why this is, of course, his gear affects everyone dramatically. Of course, he needs to have the most geared tune as fast as possible because it's our one main tank. All right, his list will always be in the Warrior Discord for Dazed. A full list. He either has a YouTube video or an actual list on it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. All right, Slats, Satvalol, and Nakobe are our three other tanks for BWL. All right, so Satvalol, Nakobe, and Slats will be main specking and spending GP on tank items. All right, Moon, of course, gets prio, so he gets first dibs. He will spend GP as well, though. All right, so it's even across the board. Once BWL is on farm and duplicates start dropping, we do have a tier list. That'll be warriors that will get these items for free. The reason they're getting for free will be for future raids and acts. Of course, for horsemen, we need 8 tanks. We need people to have some tank gear. All right, but we're not going to penalize them for assuming they're going to tank for us later. All right. Now, I do have a couple more advanced questions that I'm going to answer real quick. Are all raids created equally? No, they're not. So from MC to BWL to AQ to Nax, everything will go by 3. This is to stay even with the difficulty of the raid. How about in a short time, a newbie has more PR than I? How is that fair? We have an EP floor. We'll look over here in options. Of 130. This will change to BWL, but this is basically a week of raiding. A week of raiding. And after that, then you're eligible for a piece of gear. So that's basically that. How does Decay work? We went over this a little bit, but it's 10% on both your EP and GP. This is to de-incentivize hoarding EP and to incentivize spending GP. The more GP you have, the bigger value you get out of that 10% decay. Is it fair that certain items are getting DE'd when players can use them but save PR for other things? This is the biggest question with EPGP over Loot Council. What are the benefits of Loot Council? Basically, every piece of gear, if it can be used, gets used. One of the not benefits of EPGP is if no one wants the piece, then it's going to get DE'd, even if it's an upgrade for people. What I've been seeing a lot late with us is if like Blaster Shot Launcher and then some nice bracers for Warriors drop last raid, no one really wanted them. All right, which is fine because everyone's looking for weapons or Onslaught Gorilla or bigger upgrades. What I would do and what I'm personally going to do going into BWL, I'm going to need roll on everything. If it's gloves, if it's bracers for priests, I'm going to need roll on it right away, so I start just grabbing all my gear. I know this is a little different because I'm healing and Benediction's still good, so I'm not too worried about a weapon. But I'm going to get all gear as much as possible and kind of work my way up. Just keep my GP high, but grab every piece of gear I can. And then eventually, when we get to a point where I have all the pieces I need, that's when I'll save for something big like a Rejuve trinket. All right, but I want to get all my gear as fast as possible. So the best way to make this loot system work is everyone needs on everything. That obviously won't happen. The beauty of this is you get an option. So if you're Zephyr Cuz like that, you're saving your PR for whatever you want. You know what I mean? It's your choice on there. How have GP values items been assigned? All right, so here's your GP formula. I don't know every in-depth detail of it, but it takes the rarity of the item, the eye level of it, and multiplies it by a couple things. You'll see guilds change this, but this is the slots we like. And then in addition to that, so you have your formula initially, and you look at all the slot weights. So you say, hypothetically, let's say a headpiece is technically worth 100 GP. Since we weighted a little heavier than 1.0, it'll be 125 GP. For the neck, it'll be 75 GP. So you take your formula and then multiply it by the values here. Now, I showed this earlier, but if you really want GP values on tooltips, this is excellent. So you can click that, X out of here, go into your Atlas loot, and you can look at GP values of items. So Purge Blade, 109. Bend of Curia, 94. And so you kind of map out what you want later. All right. Doesn't the system favor the people with the most time or gold? How is that fair? No, it does not. It incentivizes the people with the most effort. So if you're coming to raid on time. Everyone can do that. With consumables, our lists are not crazy. We're not requiring flasks or any insanely expensive items. We don't require engineering. So this is doable by every single class. And if you do that, then you have max EP. So you're good. What stops a fresh recruit from ninjing an item and G quitting? Nothing really other than the EP floor. So let's go back into our add-on one last time. Options. Require minimum EP for loot. That's our EP floor. So some newbie can't come in, kill one boss or kill Rag, get Perdition's Blade, and then bounce out. Now, once you do a week, then you can basically roll on anything you want, or you can roll on anything you want. So, but if you've come in and given a week of effort and down some bosses with us, you're entitled to a piece of gear, absolutely. So if that's your prerogative, that's what it is. All right, that's basically the breakdown, guys. I'd highly recommend for Dazed, go in the Discord. The Discord has everything you need. If you have questions, you post them there. There's a bunch of questions already answered about this. Your best way, in my opinion, to make this loot system work, while you absolutely can save your PR for items, if you'd like, need on everything you need. And then eventually you're going to catch up, because the more GP you get now, the bigger value per week you're going to get on that Decay. All right, you're going to get more gear over the long term. All right, guys, thank you very much for listening. That's it. If you have any questions, hit the Discord. Make sure you get the add-on. That's big. All right, have a good one. Later.